Welcome back, guys, to another stream. Just need to double check that my reference is in the right place, so give me 1 second, guys. Yeah, so today we're just gonna continue sculpting the female character. We're probably gonna start posing it and stuff like that as well, because that just seems like something we should do now, I think. So yeah, I maybe even gonna start posting it the first thing I do, because having it asymmetrically can make it a little bit easier to control some of the shapes. But we're gonna have the face completely symmetrical and just like flip the body, I think. Oh, I need to like put the camera on for you guys. Let's do that. Okay, I just gonna see here. Yeah, there. Okay, so guys, yeah. So these are all very minor changes we need to do that are very easily fixable in asymmetry. Here I could have added some more. Okay, that's gonna be a pain in the, yeah. Should I just add a loop that goes around the shape like this? Because then we wouldn't have so much trouble with this shape right here. You can see it looks very, very stretched. We need it to go inwards, not that much. Of course, not that much. Something like so. We're just gonna do something like so, just to indicate that this is the shape. Okay, so let's begin posing, guys. At least that's my plan. Let's do it to a layer. Okay, so I have my posing reference. Just gonna pick some of these images that's gonna work as my main references. Something like that should probably work. Somewhat like that. Yep, that should work pretty fine. Okay, so first thing we are going to pose is the overall gesture, and we have already started doing that in the overall sculpt already. So I'm gonna start posing the arm. The first thing I do, this arm to be more exact, somewhat like, oh no, something like this, somewhat like that, and bringing it like that, and just we're going to have to bend it a little bit, because to do something like that. So when, yeah, somewhat like that. So when we bend this inwards, it actually works. Okay, I'm just gonna do as in rigging, where you just place this after orientation like this. It's just gonna help me a little bit. So somewhat like that. We're just gonna create that to a different. Oh yeah, we can just keep it like that, because something like this. We're gonna have to adjust this shape of the arm, because this looks super weird out. But that's a really easy fix very, very soon. And we're not really at that stage yet. We're just gonna start out with something like this. Something like that looks super weird out, guys. but trust me, it's gonna look fine out. Okay, somewhat like that. Okay, just gonna find another reference because I need some more reference. That should work. And that should work. Somewhat like that. Okay, you can, if you move your arm like so, you just need to think 1 second. Just really need to think. Okay, so that's just, that can change a lot. So we're gonna turn this a lot more forward. Yeah, you see this looks super weird out right now? Yeah, this looks perfect. No, it does not. Okay, so we need this group, and then we're just gonna use this as well. And go inwards like so. Something like that should work pretty well out, actually. Somewhat like that, I would say. And now we just gonna use this part to just do something like that, and then nope, nope, that part. Just turn the wrist around like so, somewhat like that, and then we're just gonna use the hand right here to move that downwards like so. Okay, we're gonna need to have the hand in this position, something like like that. I think we're gonna keep rotating this. Maybe just like that. There somewhere. You can flip it completely. Yeah, we can flip the entire arm. Something like that. That is just pretty correct. And then just take the hand here. Can break the laws of physics a little bit, but I don't want to break it too much. This finger could still be like pushing through like this. Something like that. Whoa, and then the thumb, like overall, like just thumb is gonna be like pointing outwards like this. Something like Okay, let's just do something like this. Doesn't matter which brush I have. Just something like that. Just very nicely just smoothing out all of these. Looks at least like it could work, so that's great. And then here we can, like that, on the back. Yeah, this thumb can definitely get some better shape. So something like that. Just something like that's just going to work. Then we just need to push it more this direction, because otherwise it ain't gonna work. Something like something like that, and somewhat like this. Just turning it back towards the wrist. I just wanted something more like this. It does not want it to bend that way. I'm not even gonna try to push that. Right here, I can see the wrist. This just looks painful to even work with. This is painful. And this also looks very painful to work with, because it is. It's some kind of like this bone here. Oh, okay. Then here, when this is pushing, this should like somewhat like this. Taking a look at the reference, and at the reference something more like this, guys. It's like really high here and then just goes downwards here. We're gonna have to fix the entire proportions of the arm, because this looks very fine for a moment. Something like, okay, we gotta this mask like that works exactly as well. from this angle. Just gonna turn this entire like thing down a little bit. Something like that. Okay, and then we're gonna just take the entire body. Gonna start making some progress here. At least very, very soon making some progress. It looks more like it's something like that, I would say. Something like that. I think this is gonna work. Yeah, and here. Something like this. Oh, yes, gonna. This arm is a little bit skinnier. And then this part of the arm goes like this. You can see like this, like go look at triangular shape here. It's just gonna look completely like it's not even able to happen like this. So here we have these muscles. No, for sure it doesn't look like this, so that's the only thing I'm basing this on right now. Something like this. Something like so. Let's push the limits. First of all, overall this looks pretty fine out. Just need to like change it like so, and then here from also gonna change it so it goes completely like okay. I'm gonna have it complete like this as I just had it. Somewhat like okay, I'm so confused. I'm trying to figure this out. I am pretty confused. Downwards like so. And then we have the hand. Here we're just gonna turn this entire like wrist. Just a tad, something like that. This need to be fixed. something like this, and we're just gonna something like so. This arm is gonna look completely out of place. Stretching a little bit, guys. Okay. Somewhat like this. I don't really know how to describe it more. This is actually starting to look pretty fine out. Arms, at least. And I'm just gonna trust my reference a little bit more and not hesitate so much. Because here we have this like skin that can be impressed on the tricep. Gonna be something around this. That I'm just looking a little bit more to that side. I'm gonna be pushing these muscles a little bit. Trying to change the shape so it actually fits a little bit better. Okay. Something like so, guys. Yes, something like this. Something like this, and here then this is gonna be way more like towards the body. This means the clavicle is gonna go a little bit upwards. Something like that, but we're just gonna keep this extremely simple, these shapes, because they aren't too complicated. So let's keep it super simple, guys. Okay, guys, so now onto the like leg pose. These arms are a nightmare, or going to be a nightmare very, very soon. Because this is not like pose you would like on a sculpting arm. Something like this. Pushing it forward like so. Yeah, but everything is in the right place, so that's what's bothering me. The arm, the hand. It still can't look fine. I think. Sorry guys, I'm tired. Okay, we can see here we have some good topology around this area. Here we have some very, very good topology. So we're just gonna take this leg. This leg is the main leg she's going to stand on. Still needs to be a little bit more. Okay, we still want the foot. Seems like something that's needed. Yeah, still want to use the foot. Okay, let's do this properly. Something like that, and then something like that. Let's just move it forward like this. Something like this, and we're just gonna overly simple right in front, something like this. Yeah, you see, just overly simple. Then take the toes. And okay, we just want the toes like this. Do something like that. And then let's see the floor in this view, so we actually can make some better judgments. Somewhat like this. Okay, something like this. This is starting to look like a pose. When you bring all these like different elements together, it's starting to look really nice. But before you bring all the elements together, you just bring like completely like static like this, and just brings out like an arm like this, like that. It's gonna look super weird. But when you like relax the entire body and everything, it's going to like just feel like it's one cohesive piece, you know? So, like so. Now we're gonna have to drag it a little bit more backwards. I kind of like over exaggerate these a little bit, because honestly it's just fun to over exaggerate sometimes. Like something like that, I would say. I'm just gonna try to bring this leg a little bit more like in the reference. It's actually pretty much inwards like this. It's gonna change a little bit of the height, you see. Because then we need to kind of like fix the foot. And that brings us to this area where we're gonna have to change the height a little bit more. And then the other foot is almost at the right height. And to really fix the height, because these two needs to be at the same height, we're just gonna take the foot, like in the reference, and just make it a lot like softer like this. I can also help with just the brush here. The reference, it's way more like this. Now they're almost at this completely the same height. And I also think this fit a little bit bigger, so we're just gonna make it a little bit smaller. And yeah, now they're pretty much at the exactly same like height. Yeah, you can see how this worked out pretty well. Something like that. Then let's just bring a little bit extra weight towards. Okay, I don't want anything to happen to the face because that's gonna be a hard thing to like change a little bit later, but something like so, I would say. And here this is like general height and length of the arm, somewhat like this. And the head should still be completely symmetrical as it was in the beginning. Yes, it is. Good, good. Here underneath we can just make somewhat more like that. The arm, we didn't have too much shape. Still had some shape, you can see. But that's just gonna be easier to just re-add, because it's so much complicated shape. Otherwise we're not gonna need to look like toes here can be a little bit more, actually be a little bit more like so, I would say. Something more like that. And then it's just a simple matter of just tilting this entire model so it's kind of in the right position. Something like that, and we're just gonna add this platform resistance on. I'm gonna make it super simple because I'm not gonna spend all my time right now on creating a cool platform. Just need her to stand on something. Something like that. Okay, and then just something like that. This sculpt is not about going into the like skin pore detail like this. Maybe like the closest you wanna be is something like this. This is just about like general anatomy, and it's more like a study just for the sake of it, because it's really fun to do studies like these. You're gonna need to have to be able to come a lot closer to the face, so we're gonna work on that a lot. Just gonna see somewhat like floor, erase that. Like, okay, we don't need that, we can just re-indicate it like this. Okay, give me 2-minute break, guys. So guys, I'm back. Okay, I think it's starting to look kinda decent. You can compare it to like start where we didn't have lots going on at all. Can't see the like difference from there to there. Just a pose just adds a lot of life to your model. So be sure that you pose your characters if you can. This was a little bit tricky to pose, but I think it ended up being fine. We're gonna work a lot more on like some shapes here and there, but first of all we're gonna work on the head and then the catastrophic area, the hand. Gonna work on very soon, but we're gonna start off with the head because I can't have this head. This head is way too under detailed. You can see all this nice geometry around here. All this geometry we have to play around with now. So I think it's gonna be pretty easy to just look out the shape of the head and stuff like that, because it ain't gonna be such a big problem. We're just gonna make some lips that's a little bit bigger, something like this. So they just now we can just adjust. A little bit like space in between there, so you can have teeth or something there later. We're gonna create all of that nice stuff like eyes, teeth. Too much work basically. Something like so. I at least think it's starting to look pretty nice. Okay. I need to make like the calves a little bit more pronounced later, which is kind of like walking. She's standing on her toes, and you like really calves gonna get really like exaggerated. So it's just stuff we're gonna need to add as it really is gonna help the overall sculpture. Oh wait, yeah, right, we got a layer. Of the difference. I prefer it in a pose, so that's good that I don't prefer it without a pose, because that would just be sad. Don't know if we can actually just go through. Yeah, you saw here in the beginning I was panicking because that didn't look good out at all. Going downwards like so. And now let's just continue adding some overall shape. So, no, something like okay. Something like that. And then something like this. Something kind of like related, like this eye right here, and here it looks a little bit too thick, or it is a little bit too thick, so we're just gonna change that real quickly. It's also a little bit too thick if you're gonna be like really on point. And we're gonna be that with this sculpture, because this is gonna be a cool looking sculpture when it's done. I'm not gonna ruin the sculpture with the face, so face needs to look realistic enough, you know. Then the overall focus is gonna be body, because I'm not gonna show the face much closer than this. but you can still see a lot of shapes from here, you know. I don't gonna show the face up close like this, because that's gonna be too much work and too much memory for the PC. Something like this, and then basically the idea is to get this to look kinda like just a 3D scan or something. To hopefully have this look realistic enough. Somewhat like that. You can see here this like fat here needs to go closer. This is the stuff we're gonna work with. I can't wait to work with all these shapes here, because that's just so much fun. Just going to do all of this asymmetrical stuff. It's so much fun, but I gotta work on the head first, because the head is super important, right? So if you don't have a head, the entire sculpture will fall apart. So I need to prioritize what's most important first. Okay, I just gonna a pen so we got like eyes, because we're gonna need some sort of eye, something like that. Somewhat like so. Somewhat like that, maybe. Maybe a little bit more like that. And we can just, like, really quickly just change how the overall eye shape is. Make that outwards a little bit more, something like that. And geometry, mirror, and whale, because I need two eyes. I just have one eye. Or you can, but it's not gonna look as good out. Okay. Somewhat like this. Okay, something like and then just something like this. Okay. Okay. Okay, something like this. Should kinda work. Something like that should work. We need to just something like this, and then just exaggerating this plane, so we don't need to worry about it. Something like this, and then upwards a little bit. Something like so. Can I try to sculpt more on that right now? Now it's just these shapes that really matter. Okay. Something like this. That's gonna like make this part a little bit thinner and go. I needed to have this like shape, kind of like so. But still need to be roundish. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm supposed to do this. Okay. I just gonna try to make the shapes work. Because it's gonna be a real hard thing to do with this sculpture. Make all of these shapes go peacefully together. There's so many interesting shapes. I need to make it all work as one cohesive piece. Somewhat like so, and then we're gonna have to create the ear a little bit better. The topology for the ear, I think it's pretty neat. Okay, something like this. Then the topology here looks fine, even when it's in a pose. That's super good actually. Because topology is this one of those things that nobody likes to do, but everybody needs to do because it's really improved for sculpture. Now we're gonna have a lot of details here added. Okay, this is a little bit out of place, so we're gonna need to like wrap that around that way later. But at least we're starting to get a lot of details around areas that we need a lot of detail. The nail here, for example, we have like extra topology around this area, so you can see. Now the knees, also extra topology. That's a little bit more. That helps if you want some extra detail. And the same is said about the knuckles. You can see here they aren't like really that friendly if you wanna like smooth them out like this and keep the sharp edges, but they're still pretty friendly. They have all of this extra detail. Then the face here. Face here, that's just starting to work, I guess. Something like so. Somewhat like that. Don't know if that's shadow or shape. That's something that annoys me. I don't know. Now here back, it could be a little bit of shape. I don't think it's that much shape. A little bit of shape it can always be. Then something like okay, and then we're just gonna add this like sharp line here so we can really like define where we want the eye to go. And make sure it's not like this round, but like here and then a breaking point, so it's more like squarish. You can see if you look close at my eye, I make it more like squarish. It still reads as round. It's a little bit more squarish, because that just makes it look a lot more real. Okay, you can see the face already starts to look way better out. I'm so happy with this sculpture that I actually started this one, because I really didn't think that I was gonna spend too much time on this sculpture. But let's say I'm happy that I did, because it's starting to look, if I can say it myself, pretty fantastic. Here we're gonna need to change, because this looks all like weird out right now. Then right around, this is gonna be one of the trickiest areas of the entire sculpture. Because with the finger like pushing down the skin and stuff like that, that's gonna be so tricky. But it's gonna be worth it, because it's gonna look super cool out. But now you can see it looks pretty bad. But we will fix it as always. Something here. Okay, here next time I know I should add some specific topology at the line with the wrinkles, because that's just gonna make it way easier. It's not gonna be that big of a problem, but something like so. Okay, not even that much. Something more just like so, something little underneath the eye. That's gonna help a little bit. Then here we're gonna need to add this shape somewhat like this, and then just smooth it out to make it less visible. The shape here can be pretty visible, or is pretty visible at the reference, because it's kind of like helps with the entire like lip shape like this, because lip goes like this. And here we need this more three-dimensional feeling of this lip, because now it looks just a little bit too flat. Looks way too flat actually. Okay, something like something like this. Something like this. Yeah, something like this. It's gonna pretty much work. Now we're just gonna move it outwards like that. Then we're gonna have to add a lot more shape to the side of the mouth, because just adding the shape to the overall lips ain't gonna work. We need to add these shapes around to make a realistic mouth. These are like the shapes of the mouth. The shapes around, I would argue is even more important. Or at least I feel like that, or think that way when sculpting. I'm not saying my way is the right way, because I'm pretty unexperienced. I'm just, because not very old yet, am I? Yeah, so if you have a better way, go for it, but I like that way, just working with the shapes like this. We're gonna use the trim dynamic to just shape this lip a little bit more. Something like Here is topology on the side of the mouth. We do not need to like worry about right now. Okay, it's the lips a little bit bigger. Lips just needs to be a little bit bigger. Then going downwards like this. Not like that. Something more like so. And here then, just adding some more shape. Okay. Something like this. Okay, somewhat like that. Like this. Okay. Something like this. Working with the shapes, subtle shapes around the mouth. I'm gonna hide that right now because that's just really hard to work with. Okay. I'm gonna hide all of this as I can work with the body and the face at the same time right now, because I just need to focus on the head and separately. This face start to look a little bit better, I think, but I don't really know because I haven't backed and watched what I had before. Let's do something like it's not that much better, it's just sharper. But usually tend to say that it's actually better. It's a little bit better. It's at the right direction. That's how I would describe it. Here I would like to add this like plane right here. Something like this. Yeah, you can kind of see how this actually working. Something like this. And this triangular shape here, because I see it in the reference. Otherwise I wouldn't add it. Something like this, because this is a little bit of a weird shape here right now. But okay, it's a wrinkle here, but I don't want it to be super sharp. Like this kinda. And here just kinda like just erasing this right between here. Something like, yeah, something like this, guys. This should look fine out in the end. Okay. Something. Just adding these shapes one by one. that's just the way to go, you know. Here, this shape goes on top. Like that, yeah. But that really easily looks like this, very, very messy. So you gotta make sure that it's directed clearly and that it's a different plane, and that should work way better. Yep. Okay, great. Then I figured out how to do that part. Never really done that part too seriously before. Adding that like cavity area is gonna make it look a little bit more realistic. Then the nose now, maybe. Should we work on the nose and then just go up and work with the overall? I don't know, like. Then we maybe should go and work with like head, maybe. I don't know, that's just what I'm thinking. Yeah, I think we will go that way. Yeah, sure. You can see here, they're starting to look pretty sweet out. Starting to get this kind of like face here. Then we just need here. Okay, let's just hide these. And let's go here. And let's work with this part by itself. Something like this. Okay, somewhat like. Okay. Something like this. And just trying to push the shapes a little bit more together, and we're gonna do the same thing here. Just trying to make these shapes look and feel more believable. That's only going to be done by working them up one by one. Like this. Inside the nose. Somewhat like that. Okay. Okay, something like something like this, I would say, at least. I think that's gonna work pretty well. Just looking at this face, seeing what I can change or add, or just change a little bit more. Because I just really want a nice finished sculpture in the end. somewhat like so. Something like this might work. And then here. Something like that, just adding this like a little bit of sharpness here just makes a huge difference. Then here. Something like this. Yeah, so I think that this should like somewhat like this. Something like that. Okay, now guys, we're gonna work on the eyes. Then we maybe gonna work a little bit on the ears, cause yeah, but we haven't done so much yet. This overall sculpture, we've done some small things. We haven't really like diving into this sculpture of all these shapes on the body and stuff like that I really just want to dive right into. I really want to dive into those shapes because I know those are going to be super fun to work with. Okay, something like that. Okay. Something like this. Something like this, guys. So, let's see here now. Okay, something like that, just adding and erasing more and more shape. Something like this. No. Need this area to be a little bit more sharp. Something like this. Okay. Something like this, guys. I think it's gonna work pretty well. Yeah, that's gonna work. Except that like eye part, but it's starting to take shape. Just the entire sculpture is starting to take some shape. That's super nice to see, because that's something that has been missing for the past like hours I've been working on this. There's been a lot of shape that just been missing, and that's been very, very weird. That's gonna something like Okay. Okay, something like somewhat like this. Okay. Okay, something like something like this, guys. We're just gonna need to add the shape right here, and then on the sides like this. And then need to add this stuff. Okay, something like something like okay, something like that maybe. Okay, somewhat like this. We're starting to get the basic shapes, and now we're just gonna add some more shapes that just gonna support these shapes. I'm gonna add these shapes to the overall eye to make them blend a little bit nicer together with these like other part of the eye, and then just adding. Okay, now it's just basically just adding a lot more shape. Okay, but we need to kind of like just that. This doesn't look good. Something like so. Okay, and then here. Okay, something like something like this. Okay, something like why do like women or the females it must be so hard to sculpt. Okay, and then here is to erase at the side. And just go this like the overall eye shape. This is way too thick. I know it's way too thick. This maybe something be more, something like that. That's more like realistic, but I just want it a little bit more so that artistic flair. Somewhat like that. Think I need to make the lips a little bit just wider, something like this maybe. somewhat like this. Something okay, somewhat like that. I'm just thinking out loud, guys, because now we need to like make the forehead a little bit smaller. Something like this instead, maybe. It's not a huge difference, just a little difference. To make sure a huge difference on the overall impact of this entire sculpture. Something like this. I think that will work. Something like that, maybe. I'm gonna take a 5-minute break very soon, because now I've been working for like an hour, and I'm starting to get just really tired, guys. They need to get these like hours in every single day to end up to become a better artist. Somewhat like this. Somewhat like okay, I'm just thinking how that's it's gonna be like that, but that's more like comfortable. Okay guys, I'm gonna take my 5-minute break now, and I'll be back very soon. I'm back, guys. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, let's just work some more on the head. This doesn't look half bad as a base, at least. It's nothing really more than a base. But don't make the mistake to put this far back, but it should be like something like that, maybe. Ain't really sure about this. Don't wanna spend all my time on the face. I wanna spend most of the time on the body and then fixing this hand. Okay, we have at least upgraded the face. Something like this. Just upgraded the face at least. That's gonna be enough for now. Sorry, I'm really tired, guys. Okay, and now we're just gonna work this part. Something like... I did not expect that. That was... Oh. Okay. I'm gonna try this once more. Something like this. That. Okay. Something like... yeah, something like... So, okay, I think I'm just gonna try this in another... with less topology, because this isn't just gonna work right now, how this looks. Whoop. We're gonna need to, like, bend the hand, like, a lot. Just gonna take a look at the reference. How the hand actually looks. It's pretty, like, bent, I would say. Somewhat like this. And I know this part can be a little bit tricky right now. Something like that. Then I think as well we should maybe just something like that to just fix this small issue, and then let's do something like that. And now we're just gonna place this entire... Okay, sorry guys, something like that. Something like so, and pushing it forward like this. We need to push this forward like somewhat like this, I would say. Okay, this sculpture or this arm part is something we're just gonna have to push through and just push our way, so push through so we can get this done. This isn't gonna be like the most fun part of the sculpture. This is gonna be a pretty hard part about the sculpture. Challenges can be fun sometimes, but not when you're this tired as I am right now. And let's see, where's this part going? this real like on the side like that. So I guess that's kinda going to work. Maybe like it's a little bit more like that. It's going to work. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Do we have a thumb? And then here I have to pressure this part downwards a little bit. Somewhat like this. So I'm just gonna make this part like so. Then just overly like clear. Indicate it somewhat like this. Something like that. Is there anybody watching? Just wondering, guys. Something like that. Could like angle the thumb a little bit as well. It doesn't look broken out like this. Because it looks kind of broken out. Like so. Somewhat like this. Somewhat like this. And here, let's just place this skin downwards like this. It looks like the thumb is applying some pressure. That's just gonna make it look like the thumb is applying all of this pressure around here. Gonna make the thumb look more like it's actually belong there. Okay, and a little bit more of this angle right here. Something like this. Yeah, this is starting to look fine-ish, I guess. Okay, we just gonna have to really think about this a little bit more. Okay, you can see here. That would work, so I ain't gonna be complaining too much. Something like that, especially if you just drag these parts. Somewhat like this. And now I'm gonna have to straighten out the fingers. That's gonna be an entire like challenge in itself. Or maybe not, because apologies maybe gonna help me a little bit. Yep, and it does help me good. Because it knows where to cut. Something like that. Let's just do this for all the fingers, guys. Something like somewhat like something like that. See, I straighten out the fingers so I can have them on body later, towards the overall body, and have them a part of the like character and not just, yeah, I have this like idea in my head, so I just need to do that idea and bring it to life. Okay, something like this. Yeah, that's kinda gonna work. Okay, something like that. That should look fine-ish. Okay, not there. Here. Okay, this I can't have. I see why it's building up, but I do not want it. Somewhat like that. But to make this look more real, we gotta move that thumb a little bit further downwards. Gotta move that thumb downwards like so. Put it back to where it was in the beginning. Okay, we maybe not gonna have it like that, but that seems like the maximum I can actually cut it. Can't really like change it too much from that spot. I can only change like overall hand. That's one. That's, yeah, that's gonna work way better. Okay, figured it out. Great. Just more like testing my testing different ways until I find the way that works the best. That's just basically the method. That's a great method. Something like this. Okay. Okay, let's just see how this can look. Let's just make this the finger like so, and then something like that, and then we're gonna, that finger's gonna be a little bit tricky. No. No, no, no. We just messed it all up. Damn it. We're just gonna need to bring it all back. Like so. Like this. And then just take one finger at a time, once more. Okay, it's not that bad of a process, so I'm not gonna complain. I gonna complain, I'm gonna do it at a different part than this. Because this isn't too bad actually. Complaining is more for like the stage where I had to do topology. That's maybe a stage where I would more complain. This is way more like chill than that. This finger is gonna be the finger that's highest up. Something like so. So I just turn it around a little bit. Fingers can't turn, but they can go like this. Then go on top and over like this. Okay, and then we're just gonna Okay, this looks so weird out right now, but let's just see how it looks. Overall, that works pretty well. Gonna need to work on some areas like this blending point right here. This I knew was gonna be the hardest part, this blending point. So I ain't really like surprised. So that's good, I guess. How this... I'm just trying to think. Like so. I had it like so. Could I have it report as completely like something like that? But then it would need to be really far back, and it is. That far back is really hard. Yeah. Okay, but this seems kind of logical. Trying to look a little bit more believable. Okay, somewhat like that. The face looks pretty darn good. You see all of the shapes just coming together to bring together this one piece. And with that there as well. And I don't want something like that, and I want that model on top there. Because they're completely different. Now they're completely different. See, it was a little bit rougher here before. A bit more refined. Okay, the easy part here, or easy, there aren't real easy parts. Is we can just see this area here. I need to fill this in. So we just gonna put in like this, so I have it filled in. Because then we can just push the arm or the thumb like this. Just push these shapes to their limit. Yeah, the thumb can actually go like that. It's not what we usually see it go like that, so that's why it's a bit uncanny valley sort of feeling. I'm not really gonna worry too much about keeping perfect shape of the overall hand when it comes to this part. Okay, something like... Okay, I can see that it can kinda get the difference. Can I just get to move this part now? It's so nice. I just can move this finger. Only this finger would move. Okay, something like that's gonna work fine. Yep, somewhat like that. Okay, something like that, guys. Okay, then this guy, this part right here, needs to be brought forward like so. We can see want these fingers to be. Okay, something like something like this, I kinda guess. Let's just bring it like that, bring it like that, bring it something like this. So then you just can these like shapes underneath. Something like this, so everything will start to make a little bit more sense. Then just pressing the fingers towards the skin like this. That finger doesn't need to be too pressed because it's not supposed to be too much towards the skin. It's supposed to be like this pressure point right here. So we're changing anatomy a little bit just to make these, to sell this a little bit better. Moving around on some of the proportions. I see one last thing we need to do with the thumb. Something like W and then just move the thumb, something like that. Okay, so we're just gonna make it somewhat like that. Something like okay, something like so. Just making that. Okay, wise. Something like that, thank you. Then just gonna go in between these two. There's mostly a lot of fat and stuff like that. Just need to make this look fine-ish. This ain't something that's gonna look super pretty from up close. Yes, that it works from a little bit of a distance, I would be super happy. Something like this. There's just pressing the skin inwards, but that might be a little bit too much. I might need to just change the proportions a little bit to make it look more genuine. That's gonna look more real, but it's also gonna break this like super female look. But this is more like the reference, it's not that over exaggerated. Okay. We're just gonna need to turn the arm a little bit more before we fix back all the proportions. Okay, somewhat like rotate. Like this is kind of what I expected it to look like. Because that looks way more like just to go to me, if you ask me at least. Or the hand has a lot of flexibility, so I'm just trying to make this work, guys. This turned out to be exactly as hard as I thought it would be. Maybe even a little bit harder. Somewhat like this. Okay. Okay, something like this. Overall scope. Yep, we need to redirect the hand now. You can see now it looks super weird. Still need this like skeletal structure right here. Okay, something like okay. We're just gonna start with just taking this separately, masking it, so we'll have something to work from. And then this angle is something I can use a lot more. And the fingers are like bent inwards. That's a big no-no. And then here. Stretching a little bit. Then just gonna keep refining. all of this. Okay. Okay, something like that. Maybe I should do this arm completely. Just cut it off and take another object and just cut it under or something. Looks pretty accurate. This looks a little bit too flat out. There's so much to change. Ain't much I want to keep. Okay, I want to keep like the legs because they look pretty good out. Does the arm position look realistic out there? Yes, it does. Is that something that's important? Yeah. So, I think we're just gonna take the hand once more. Something like that. And then just overly turn the entire hand like around, and especially something more like that. I need the hand something like this. That's how I want the hand, and this is how I want the arm. Now we need to merge these two together. Yeah, of course, that's how it's done. Okay, I forgot about one skeleton part in the hand that made this make sense now. Okay, that one has gotten way out of place, so we're gonna have to adjust that one. Because it's not even in the right direction, right place. It should be right here somewhere. See if we can just move it like this, and if that's enough or not. Sometimes it is, sometimes it is not. Different every time. And here. That's something I think looks way more realistic. And then we're just gonna add these shapes back. Went out like this. So really like preferred when those shapes were there. Because it just made it look so realistic. Something like that, guys. Just gonna double check how it actually looked. Yeah, something like that. Alrighty then. Let's see if we can add some more shape back here now, here from this direction. Okay, these are gonna, this is no secret, they are be able to shadow these shapes like this later on, right? So that's no secret, but that I would say looks normal. Something like that. This is all about like, you see this position of the hand towards the body. This is like most difficult part because it's on that direction and all of that. Just like I knew it would be hard, but I hope that it won't be this hard. But let's solve it. Mo. Oh, hi! Welcome to the stream! How are you doing today? Yeah, so we are sculpting this like female right here. And the idea is that we just trying to pose this hand, and it's so difficult because it needs to be in the right angle and stuff. So I'm having a hard time with it. But it's probably gonna be okay in the end, I hope. Something more like that, maybe. Yeah, let's see here now. Something like that might actually work. Okay, let me just measure these. I am fine, thank you. What about you? Yeah, thank you, I'm fine. As I said, working on this like super hard sculpture. I think it's pretty hard. I'm trying to learn. And are you like interested in sculpture or 3D? Or what are your interests? Yeah, it's pretty clear that mine are 3D, I guess. Sit with this way too many hours. Okay, something like that. You can see the arm starting to like be brought to life here, right? Yeah, so we can kind of like... Okay, the thumb needs to go downwards, but that's no problem. That's actually gonna be real happy. Yep, it's difficult. Yeah, that's true, that's true. It's really difficult with sculpture. And let's see here. Something like that. Let's take the hand. Something like so. Then I just gonna try to rotate the thumb and the thumb only. And oh, you're sculpting characters? Nice. Do you sculpt in ZBrush or Blender or any other software? Okay, something like this. This here now, I hope to just fill this out. Okay, and we're gonna have to take the thumb here, this area. Take this area. I studied anatomy. I tried to make character without, but fails. Yeah, anatomy is super important. I know it's really boring to learn at first, but just work your way through it, and when you come out on the other side, you're gonna think probably it's pretty fun. That's how it worked for me, at least. Now I'm pretty much obsessed. I use Blender to learn anatomy in muscle system and bones. Yeah, and I don't know if you know this, but I am offering like... I don't know what you know about my channel or anything. Yeah, doing anatomy for most part on my YouTube, and I'm also offering, if you want it, like free critique on if you take any tips or tricks from my tutorial. I would be happy to help you out with anatomy. So if you want any help with anything like that, just hit me up on Instagram. It's the same name on Instagram as on YouTube. So yeah, I would really like to help somebody, because I know it's hard. Okay, something like this. Just gonna try to inflate the underside of this hand. Yeah, but Blender is a great software. I used to use it before, and so I know a lot about the software. I really love that software. Okay, I'm just gonna try to concentrate so I can kinda like get this hand in the right direction. Something like this. And now we're just gonna move the hand like this. And let's take the overall finger shapes. Something like this. Just trying to think how this would actually look. Because I don't want to bend them too much, because then it's not going to work as it should. Okay, somewhat like that. Okay, so I think we should just... I think ZBrush is better for sculpting. Yeah, I really... Yeah, I'm a big fan of ZBrush. Yeah, I definitely just like sculpt everything I do inside of ZBrush. But using Blender for like lighting and rendering like that, I can use it sometimes. I definitely use it for like some quick like compositing and stuff like that. Yeah, Blender is for modeling. Yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah, for modeling. Yeah, Blender is really solid. I don't think it's as solid with the UV mapping, because I find that easier in like a software like Autodesk Maya or Maya. Yeah, Maya it's pronounced. I'm not good with the names. Okay, let's see here now. We need to like bend this entire hand. It's in the wrong bend. Need to redirect this. Something like that. Yep, for that Blender it's super. That's completely true. Oh, I just got scared. I thought it was just got like big lighting outside. Wait. Oh, wait. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? So what kind of characters do you usually sculpt or model? I don't know if you're sculpting or model them. Yeah, sculpting characters, yeah. So you're sculpting them. Yeah. What kind of characters do you usually like sculpt? Okay, something like so. UV mapping is nice part, exactly. UV mapping, it's nice part, exactly. Like with retopology. Yeah. It's nice that you like retopology. I'm no big fan of it, but just takes so much time, you know? But it can be fun when you really like solve some big problem, you know? Something like... Okay, the overall base of the hand starting to get in a solid position. But then the fingers is where we have the problem. Okay, so this finger needs to move upwards. Okay, the great thing is that we're actually starting to get a base here. Something like this. So it's going to be pretty easy to just fill this blank spots out, something like this. And not yet, I'm studying, I am studying and I'm looking, try like realistic and stylized. Yeah, but that's really cool. Yeah, like, I ain't that good at stylization because I've never really tried it. I just trying to stick to the more realistic side. Can I ask what kind of like, if you are working on some character right now, is it like any specific character you're working on? Okay, something like this. I'm just gonna need to bend this finger. Yeah, you see I got a lot of trouble with this. Something like that. Okay. Something like this, I would say, at least. Look finish. Yeah, something like this. Now it's just like making all these fingers fit nicely. And that's maybe sounds extremely like simple, but you would be surprised of how difficult it can actually be to just your model, you made it from scratch. Yes, this model I made it from scratch. I made it. This model is a complete like live stream model that I made from a sphere from scratch. The entire thing. This is like, I think I put like 30-40 hours into this now. So yeah, and I got the proof. So like from a sphere. Yes, from a sphere. Yeah, so you can see the like proof from under playlist, and there's then like live content I think I wrote. There's everything. Yeah, and you can see here as well. I did a red topology. Let's see. Yeah, I did a red topology as well. The face isn't very nice yet, but it's gonna look better. I do a lot of this like models, just pretty much usually bored, so yeah, I like doing 3D models. And from a sphere, it's just a cool thing to start from. Something like that. Something like that, and then just doing some kind of like something like this. Okay, so I'm trying to be more and more specialized in human anatomy. I also really like creature anatomy. That's just a lot of fun, I think. But it can be difficult. So yeah, I'm trying to do everything one step at a time, just because I don't want to burn myself out doing like 3D on my spare time. Something like that looks pretty fine out, if you ask me. With the hand. Yeah, something like that. Then here you can like see that it's gonna need some more work. This is gonna need. Nice, are you improving your skills now? Yeah, I'm just trying to take this basic model that I just made last 30 hours, yeah. And I'm trying to improve. Yeah, I'm trying to improve my skills. That's basically it. This is just, I'm talking about the process and just improving my skills at the same time. You know, because I would sculpt this either way. So I thought, why not just sculpt it live? So if anybody got any questions, they can ask them. So maybe it can help somebody. I don't know. Just a general idea. Okay, let's see here. Something like that. But sculpting from a sphere is pretty difficult, I think. I think it's a lot of work and can be a challenge. It's sometimes fun and sometimes not super fun. Yeah, okay, so now we have this problem with the thumb that we had before, and we had before that, and we had before that as well. I like to model, then make it ready, then use bones for rigging. I don't try to make model with posing. Wait, I'm just gonna read it again. I like to model, then make it ready to use for bones for rigging. I don't try to make models I don't try to make post models, like sculpting post models, I guess you're meaning. Yeah. This was like, so you can see here, I can show you. If I just go back. This wasn't post before. It was just like this, a very, very simplistic base. very simplistic, some basic anatomy and stuff like that, and then I started posting it, and now I'm just basically refining it, because I want to see my portfolio, something like this. Don't know if it's this that's going to end up in the portfolio or something else. I'm just way too obsessed with sculpting in general, so the latest I'm starting to get a lot done. So yeah, if you make that model just you make that model just with one pose. Yeah, I'm just gonna make this model in this pose, because then I can really refine it and really show like how the wrinkles and muscles change, and how the like overall posture changes, and just really good to have in my portfolio, because it shows a lot of like skills. You understand what I mean? Yeah, so it's just a generally good idea to have that. So that's basically why I have it. And I'm a little bit tired of sculpting T poses and A poses and that stuff like that right now, because I've done that way too much. I want to improve my anatomy, so I thought, why not just try something a little bit different. Okay, something like that. That's like the maximum I can actually turn the overall thumb. That's bumming me out, because I really need, because now the hand looks great, but the thumb does not. So that's a bummer. Yeah, I'm trying to kind of like make this look like a 3D scan that's been refined or something. That's kind of like the look I'm going for. I'm just gonna render this out like in like a clay style, like a sculpture style. You know, with just make this like a clay material and then just have a lighting. Yeah, so really simple. Muscles animation, you like to use shape keys. Do you do muscle simulations? Yeah, muscle animation, I don't really do animations, but I have done it in the past. And yeah, I have used a lot of shape keys within Blender. But I would really love to do some muscle simulations and stuff like that in the future, to like really get that like muscles like moving and shaking when it's walking around like a dinosaur or something. But yeah, shape keys is really great, and I like creating shape keys as well. I do some of them sometimes just for fun. Something like that. We're just gonna move this part of the thumb outwards. Okay, now we can see that it's almost there. Okay. Okay. Something like this. Yeah, something like that. And just changing that to be able to press this inwards. So the thumb is kind of like pressing here. And then I'm just gonna change this to make it look like thumb is really like pressing that surface downwards like so. That I think is starting to look fine out. Okay, so I need to add, yeah, but I know how to do shape keys, at least from ZBrush to Maya. So that's just too much fun to resist. Okay, something like, I started to learn some basic anatomy from my school, so yeah, I guess starting to learn some at least. Great, do you have ArtStation account? Yeah, I have an ArtStation account. Yeah, I do have an ArtStation account. It's not really like up to date. My Instagram is way more up to date, but my my ArtStation is Alexander Thompson. And you can see it should be like, yeah, my face on the like. I can bring it up if you want. Here's my Daniel Craig sculpture I did. Okay, just I'm just gonna bring it up. Let's see, ArtStation. Something like this. My ArtStation, just sign in. Sign in. Here, just gonna view the profile. Yeah, here's my ArtStation. I don't like this one, so I'm gonna erase it very soon. But I'm just gonna keep it there for a little while more. But I'm really proud of this like Daniel Craig sculpture that I did. See, something like this. This was just a quick sculpt, like done in 5 days. So it wasn't too much time spent, but yeah, it worked out fine, I think. Then we have this old Indominus Rex model. Didn't do this. I would like to detail the scales a little bit more, like today. And here's just a nice anatomical piece I did for tiger anatomy. Something like this. It's just anatomy. I'm just a big fan of anatomy. That's basically everything I do. Something like this. Yeah, so okay, I guess gonna look here how this is gonna look. This needs to be changed. I see a lot of stuff that I need to change. Oh, nice one. Oh, thank you. Something like this, just adding some more shape to the overall. Yeah, but my ArtStation isn't really up to date. Like my Instagram is way more up to date. Let's go to Instagram here and go to my profile. Here we can have my like. We have my Instagram. Yeah, this is a little bit more up to date. It has some more like nicer images of some of the images that was on ArtStation. Yeah, some speed sculpts and stuff like that as well. But that was basically it. Okay. Let's just continue this like right here. That Rex character, you use more brush, right? I don't really. The Rex character you used. You mean for the scales? And I used some brush textures, but I mostly just did it by hand because I wanted it to match up pretty nicely. But yeah, I would add some more like texture on top of it, but mostly of it I did by hand. But I did it like a year ago, so I would do it a lot differently now. Yeah, so I have no problem with like sitting down for hours and just sculpting details. That's just a lot of fun. Okay, let's see here now. The hand starts to look pretty nice. I would say that's a pretty neat pose. I'm just gonna look at the overall, where is it, the connection from the back here now. Here we can see the overall like connection. It's great, sure. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's really old. Something like somewhat like this. I think you are now better if you're sculpted. Oh, what do you mean? Do you mean it? I would do it better now? Because that's completely true. But yeah, I'm better now if I sculpted it today. Yeah, that's definitely for sure. Actually, gonna sculpt an Indominus Rex, T-Rex, and Velociraptor battle thing. Gonna start that project very soon. I'm also trying to get a small dinosaur movie project going. So that's a lot of fun. Something like... Yes, the arm finally starts to look good. Finally, great. That's starting to look kinda great out. I really wanna work with characters in the future. That's like the dream, you know? Something like this. Something like this. I'm just gonna let my dog out very quickly. Okay, like that. So, now my dog is not in my room anymore. Great. Okay, let's see here now. Let's just change the proportions. Need to change the direction of his arm, and I need to change so much here because nothing on this sculpture is really lining up right now with the pose, because I need to change how the skin react and stuff like that, and add details, like sharpen up, like the this area, the navel and stuff like that. A lot of those stuff really just needs to be improved. But something like that, I think looks pretty well. Just gonna save this, so I have an extra save copy. I would need it. Something like that, and then we have this like little thing that it stands on. Maybe I actually want to make that a little bit like smaller, I think. Let's just see here now. If we make it like something like this, and then something like that, that would be pretty neat. Something very simplistic. Does it look better like that? No, something like that would probably look fine. Something like this. Okay, let's see here now. Let's just add some more like general oh, I'm not on the right object. Something more like this. Add this little like shape where the muscle goes. A bit more. Okay, I think that's starting to look a little bit better out. Really starting like how the hand placement is. I really struggle with that now for the last hour, so that's really happy that that's starting to look fine. Do you use print for your models? Do you mean I 3D print them? If I 3D print my models? Yes, I do have a 3D printer. If it's something like this, you mean? Like printing them out? Like my Indominus Rex model here? Indominus Rex model. 3D printed it. Something like this. Something like that. Turn it downwards a little bit more like the hand, like that. Not gonna overdo this hand. I guess that's a smiley. Yeah. So yeah, I 3D print. You like it? Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was a long story to create that one, but I think it's turned out okay. Now I'm sculpting a little. Gonna try to sculpt like. Need to just study the reference a little bit more. And something like that. Like from the back here, how this area, because this area is completely wrong right now. Need to find a little bit better reference. Having this like reference pack right now. Something like that. To add these wrinkles underneath here. Like this, and then just add shapes like this. Somewhat like this. And let's go back here. We're gonna need some more like topology back there. Okay, let's see. Something like this. Great, oh, thank you. That. Okay. Let's just take another angle so I can start working up these shapes a little bit more. Should be a little bit. You use tablet? Yeah, of course. I use a tablet, yeah. Okay, something like that. Of course I use a tablet, so something like this. Something like this. Okay, let's see here now. Just gonna see if this is starting to look correct. I think this is gonna start to look pretty correct out. And here then we're gonna have like just like wrinkle here. So this was just a generic model, but that I created from scratch, and then I just thought, why not make it into something cool with a pose like this. I just wanted a very simplistic pose, but with the hand. It wasn't that simplistic as I hoped, but it was a great learning experience to learn how to create something like that and how to make it look natural. Somewhat like that. Do hamburger? What? What do you mean, man? Do a hamburger? No, I'm not gonna make a hamburger. Like, let's see here now. Nice. Oh, thank you. Okay, something. Okay. You're sad? Yaki Baki? Do I know you or something? That seems like a pretty, like, thing you would own the right to me if you knew me. If I would do a hamburger. Okay, something like this. It's gonna... Burger, you need restaurant? Yeah, if I'm gonna do a burger, I need a restaurant, yeah. But no, I'm not gonna make a burger. I'm just gonna indicate the tricep a little bit better. Yes. Okay. Okay, something like that. Adding this like tricep shape here. Just add this like volume. Okay. Okay, I think this is starting to look fine out as some base, but here we can see it like problem, and we need to like make some more topology or make it higher res, basically. I'm not gonna do that for a little while because I just want to focus on the like most basic shapes. Awesome. Okay. Okay, we're just gonna like create this like very basic pose here now. Not basic pose, I mean basic shapes. To like help the overall like posture with the calves and stuff like this. Here we can kind of like see how all of this just gonna get a little bit more visible, because I need to see the calves here, right? Because that's the muscles. Somewhat like that. Something like that, and then here we're gonna over exaggerate this shape because it's way more clear in the reference, and just this exact like pose with the leg. Now it's all in a little bit of a different pose than it was before, because now it's not in this like A pose. It's something like this. Yeah, that leg needs some work as well. Especially top here, you just need to correct that shape. That I can do after I've done some more shapes here. Yeah, Mo, I think I'm pronouncing your name. Can I help you with something? Because I guess you're trying to like get your hands on some kind of like 3D model or something. That's my guess. Somewhat like this. You can see the calves there at least. How they're all like just okay, something like this. Okay, somewhat like this, just creating these shapes here. Indicating where your foot is, where all the shapes are going. That's really just the most important part right now. Making one shape and then making another. Soon I will try to know something when I study. I don't really understand your answer, but I guess you need something, yeah. I guess you're gonna study anatomy. That's my guess. Because I am gonna release a course on anatomy. I like to see many references for what I try to make. Yeah. Same here. I use a ton of reference. Yeah, but just bought this like pack of references, so 360, so I easily could sculpt this. Otherwise this would be pretty hard to sculpt. Not impossible, but more difficult at least. something like that. I'm just trying to get the like basic shapes to fit here right now. Actually looking pretty fine. I'm gonna try to light this before before I end the stream. But this is a while before I'm gonna end the stream, so yeah. Are you studying anatomy by on your own, or are you like going to some 3D school or something? Okay. Here, I'm just gonna something like this. Don't really know how to create this. Just trying to figure out this. Here it's pretty visible because right now this is the like around this area that's getting a lot of like force put to it. You understand what I mean? No, you try by yourself. Yeah, that's awesome. Same here, same here. Yeah, I've done 3D now for 3 years. Almost 3.5 soon. Yeah, I am. Okay, I'm 16 now. 16 now. Started when I was 13 years old. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like this, here we can see a small thing that's happened. Because my English not very well. Oh, okay. Okay, something like this. Yeah, but you know, if you want critique, I'm happy to help you out. Something like this. Because I think I'm starting to get the hang of anatomy a little bit. I never think you can really like fully learn anatomy because it's so much to learn, but I think you can still make awesome looking sculptures. Okay, here now I'm gonna try to create the leg a little bit better. And from the other side, it's looking a little bit different from the other side, but still I'm gonna need to like pronounce these. Something like this maybe. Something like this. Yeah, so VKS gonna very soon add more topology, so I can get some more work done on this. Because right now it's very hard to get a lot of work done when it doesn't really have the topology that it needs. You can see here, just gonna try to like make these shapes stand out like this. And we're gonna create a little bit of a better nail here. We have like specific topology around the nail here, so we shouldn't have too much trouble. Just reform it. Doesn't need to be perfect either, so that's very neat for me. This thumb is on very like huge distance. Something like that. Yeah, so let's see here now. Okay, something like so. Just put a little bit nicer neck. Yeah, the head is like very like under sculpted right now. There's almost no shape to it. Just got some very basic like shapes, just so you can see that it's actually a head, but you can pretty much erase it because it's pretty much nothing. I guess it worked from a distance like this so far. Something like this. Do you sculpt a lot? Okay, something like this, maybe like the knees. Doesn't look pretty neat out. Something like that. Yeah, I think this, yeah, it gets the basic shapes down. I think I just wanna like see if I can fix these like afterwards, like now, or maybe it's just as easily just fix it like this. Ain't really sure, haven't really done this. Haven't ever really done real posing of characters before. I've done some basic stuff. But you think it's perfect? Oh, thank you. I think you think it's starting to look good. Oh, thank you. It's a lot of work left, but yeah, it's starting to look nicer at least. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of this like tips and tricks videos on my channel. Right, like quick videos, or quicker videos that like planned out videos that's not just like a live stream, or just go more with the flow. Yeah, so I have a lot of videos on anatomy and how to sculpt anatomy and how to think and all of this kind of stuff. Something like this line right here. Something like that. It's at least a decent sculpture. But then when you light it, it's gonna look way better, because now it looks very, very flat out. Here we're gonna need to add these like creases. We can't really do that right now because ain't enough topology, so that's just bothering me. Something like that. Just like on dinosaurs, I'm gonna exaggerate the shape so it goes more like this triangular. Here goes the bone, but we want this triangular shape down here. It looks like it's a lot of tension. It looks like the leg is actually in motion. As you can see here, it's gonna look like a little bit more motion, a little bit less like it's just standing there, you know, or just, you wanna make it look like it's in motion. It's gonna, and that's a very difficult thing to do. Something like this. This can definitely be dragged backwards a lot more. Something like that, maybe. This is still roundness here. Okay, now we're gonna fix this shape. Okay, so gonna get these like basic shapes here. Alright. So to look kinda realistic out. I'm gonna save it once more because I'm starting to get pretty happy with the result. You're right, I need to change this as well. So just can't store move target. Why? Or delete move target, store move target. And let's do something like this. Project morph. So it's actually on the right place. Something like that, project morph. What's happening down here? Something like that. That can screw up the entire model if that were been left there. Just trying to get these shapes to line up so it looks more like I planned the topology a little bit more. I planned it, but like not good enough. So something like that should look fine out. Topology wise at least. Yeah, I'm just trying to break this down to easy shapes so I can see what I'm doing. It was really funny because one guy asked me to sculpt this like human. So we sculpt a female because the person had only seen me like sculpt males. So I got the challenge and I said, why not? So yeah, that's how it started. Okay, something like okay, and here we're gonna have this like going downwards like this. I'm just gonna try if this works. So delete morph, store a new morph. I'm gonna try to get these lines downward like this. So I can work really, yeah, that's gonna work okay, I'm not gonna fiddle around too much that area. It's just gonna end up looking weird. So I just need to add more topology. First of all, I think I'm gonna try to render this. Okay, not just like a ZBrush render, because that's not really doing anything. They're just adding like a shadow, and that's it. And honestly, I'm not earning anything on that. Something like this. I think that looks a little bit too weird around that area. So I need to fix it around this area right here. Just gonna do this render with this. I think it's gonna do a render with this. Something like so. Seems a little bit more realistic. Yeah, just gonna try to just replicate. I'm really pleased with the hand posing right here. But here is somewhere where it could be better. So instead of just saying it could be better, why not just let's make it better? Boom, something like that. Yeah, you see we have too little topology. We need a lot more. Okay, this is to the next time I'm gonna plan it out a little bit better, topology. I thought I planned it out pretty well, but apparently not. Because there should be an line right here. That would have made it so much simpler for me. Somewhat like, because this doesn't have a lot of squares, it just has really well placed like faces. I think I'm gonna see how this looks rendered out very soon. But first we'll need to like check how this looks from here as well. So, did you have any question? You said you were gonna ask some question, so bring it on. If you had any, with like. I think it's good. Good, I will see you soon with your new stream. I'm going to study sculpting. Yeah, of course. Have fun sculpting. It's a lot of fun. But if you have any questions along the way, don't even like hesitate. Just like, yeah, you can get critique or anything, something like that, as I said multiple times right now. So have a nice evening or morning or whatever it is, like for time zone for you. Okay, something like this. Good luck. Oh, thank you. Good luck to you too. Let's try to light this now. So we're just gonna do an extra save before we just take these two subtools, merge them together, then exporting them out. It's evening in Saudi. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Have a good evening. Female return done. Okay. Base 1. Okay, something like that. Let's take it inside of Maya. Let's do it. Yeah, bye. Have a nice evening. Thank you for watching. See you next. See you in like another stream. Nice to talk to you. Let's see if we can get some like nice stuff going on here. Let's see. Okay, something like. Okay, just gonna give me 1 second, guys. Let's see if. Okay, we have 2 viewers. 3 with me. I have 90 like subscribers right now. The goal right now is 100, so we are getting very yeah. So let's do it. Let's bring this into Maya. Or before we do that, I'm gonna need a quick break. Hi guys, I'm back once more. Okay, so I'm just taking this into Maya. Okay, okay, that's no. Okay, so now we're just gonna make it to a nice render, so you can see how it looks. Something like that. Something like this, maybe. Something like this. So, okay, I guess I'm gonna show you guys the render instead. Something like this. I think it was that one. Yep, I found it. There you guys can see the render. So I'm working with that render right now. I want the intensity to be a lot less because I just wanted to like fill out the image with some lighting. I don't want it for anything else. And then we just want here we don't want to show it to the camera, because to the camera we want to create our own light, and we want to use like area light, I would say. Right there, something like that. Maybe just taking it from the front or something. Let's just try this. I've never tried this before, so let's try it. Okay, let's bring this up to 10. See if we start to see some lights. Almost. There we see some too much lighting. There we start to see some shape. Now it's really like not any professional look of the lighting, but you can still see all the shapes. So we're starting to see some like progress, I guess. We're gonna bring it from the top like this, point it downwards, because then we're gonna see some shape, like how we would see it in natural life. Something more like. Okay, I'm just gonna scale this down so I can see the entire like rectangle. Something like that. Yeah, I think that starts to look alright, I guess. Something like that. Okay, so we're just gonna add some more lighting. Use color temperature. Always gonna have a hard time with that word. Let's just. There aren't much lighting towards like the leg area right now. Don't really need that much, but sad because there is a lot going on towards the legs. So maybe see if we can get some more lighting. Something like that. Yeah, now we get some more lighting towards the legs, but we don't want it like bright like this. So we're just gonna something like that, so we just have an overall like lighting that gives shapes to the entire sculpture. Then we're gonna duplicate this. I'm going to duplicate it. We're gonna scale it down by a lot. Just make sure that the top of the head gets a lot more lighting. But then we're probably gonna need to like scale this lighting down because it's gonna be so much lighting. Something like that will probably work. And then something like that maybe. Yeah, you're seeing all the shape of the sculpture, but it's... yeah, something like that. Just wanna turn it around a little bit, so you can see like the hand. I'm actually gonna light it in a little bit of a different way than this, because yeah, I guess I kinda like this lighting, but it doesn't really look how I want it. So we're just gonna move this around a little bit. Play around with the lighting. Something like that. Make it something like so. See how this arm, not arm, the hand looks. Yeah, that looks kind of like fine out. Let's just see. That looks pretty realistic out, so that's great. Okay, so we're just gonna see if we can make some quick changes. So let's see here now. We can make some quick change. We're just changing the way the lighting hits this character. I kinda like that sort of lighting, and then make it look like this. Strong, like independent woman or something. But then we would definitely need some more like lighting towards the legs. But I am like kinda like a fan of how the lighting goes. Super bright towards the face. You could probably tone it down just a little bit, because it looks a little bit over. It looks overexposed. We don't want that, right? And then this like light that would go from here. Something like this. Let's just see how this looks. Something like that. I need that like... okay, then I know that I need this to look more like sharp, connected here. I want these pixels gone here. I want it to look really sharply connected. This looks fine. Just need some more details. Okay. Just gonna start off by changing the material to some actually great material. It's gonna look way over exaggerated in the beginning. Roughness. Gonna turn the roughness upwards. Change the color to something more like clay, kinda or like this. Somewhat like this, I guess. something like that. Maybe just grayish. Grayish or whitish, something like that. Because then we're not gonna need a lot of lighting to indicate a lot and a lot of lighting. It's pretty much just gonna gonna turn it up to 10. So I have this like free space here to move around with. Something like that. And exposure on this guy. Don't need to be a lot. It looks like extremely flat out, and I don't want. Okay, I want to keep it so simple that it's overly simple, kinda. Let's just erase those lamps. We have this one lamp. Can you see what I can do with this one lamp? See what can be done with just one lamp. There's a lot. So you can see this looks way more dramatic. Okay, that just quick change just made it look so much more dramatic. It's a huge difference. Okay, I've already worked 3.5 hours. I'm starting to get a little bit tired, guys, so please respect that. I know you guys are going to respect it, so not worried about that. Just make it look very 3D when you get this like shadow here. Makes it look extremely 3D. Still like here we could need some more lighting. Just try this. It's very interested in what's going to happen. I just want to see, okay? Is this shown also some more detail? Yeah, you can see detail in here, the nails and stuff. Just hide this one. Then this one. Just gonna move it a little bit more to the side. And then something more like this, maybe? This gives this like really natural and cool looking lighting. And then on top of that we're gonna need to add something a little bit extra, I think, and that's probably pretty much it. because this is not going to show the shapes as well as we need them. At least not this area. How does this look? Looks a little bit overexposed because I'm like, oh, no. So I'm just gonna turn down the strength a little bit, so you still can, because we don't want it this dark, but we don't want this. We don't want it too bright either. We just want this to line up nicely. Okay, something like this. Something like that, I think could work pretty well. So let's try to save this image under here, save this one, and then open up Photoshop. Okay, let's open up Photoshop. Let's see what we can make. Okay, now we're just gonna take you back to the first screen we had. Something like, perfect, we're back. Great. File, open. Just gonna open this image. Something like that. I like working with these. See how much shape we actually have in this image? This like super, yeah, this is a lot of shape. Just got erased when you make it like this. More like that seems more natural. I'm not gonna overdo it this time. Always tone it down. Gonna make something like that maybe. Okay, now I can already see that the wrinkles are a little bit too like heavy. But it still looks like a feminine face, so that's great. Or at least I think so. The overall body is starting to look pretty nicely out. Okay, you can kind of like see the overall idea, just having this really just basic idea of creating a sculpture. Then maybe just play around a little bit more with the black. Just a little bit higher contrast. From this to some more like, so not here but more. I'll make it darker, but not too dark. Somewhere around there, I think it's good. Looks kinda evil right now. So that looks pretty cool. If we just made it a little bit brighter. Let's just see here. You can see we can really like make it just like this. It like that, but we can also just somewhere around there I think is great. Just gonna save this image. Yeah, okay guys, so we're gonna end the stream here. Thank you so much for watching, hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Yeah, that's basically it. So, have a nice one. See you.